I found this article and I thought this is too fun not to talk about. So there's this article from VinePair. It's the 10 most popular American whiskey brands in the world for 2025. I'm gonna link it below, of course, gotta give credit to VinePair for making the article, but I thought, this is a fun little look into the world of marketing versus quality. Are the top ranking whiskeys actually that high of quality? Do they have good marketing? Is there a different reason people are buying them? So we're gonna run through the list. I'm gonna do it relatively quickly here. And let's get an idea of what people are buying. We're coming out of the gate hot here. Once again, this is the 10 most popular American whiskey brands in the world for 2025. And at number 10, we've got Ole Smoky. So clearly we are including flavored whiskey in with normal, like not flavored whiskey that doesn't have any artificial or any kind of flavoring added to it. So I guess Ole Smoky makes sense. They make a lot of flavored whiskeys that are really good. I've got family members that absolutely love their different flavored whiskeys. So that one makes sense. I wish that flavored whiskey wasn't included on this list, but it is what it is. Now, number 9 is where the rubber meets the road. At number 9, we've got Wild Turkey, and they are including in that Wild Turkey American Honey, which is funny. So we're still including the sales from the flavored stuff, which is what's putting Wild Turkey on this list. What's gonna get interesting here, and you're gonna see, is we're gonna get into brands that don't do flavored stuff. So it's interesting that when we include the flavored stuff, this is still only at number 9. I think Wild Turkey belongs probably higher up on this list. We're gonna get into some other brands here in a minute that I think like 101 is better than them, and it's cheap and it's accessible. So Wild Turkey being at the 9 spot is actually surprising to me. It also says here, Wild Turkey currently has 20 bottlings on offer, with Wild Turkey 101 being a consistent favorite. So they're including 20 different bottles under Wild Turkey, which is getting the 9 spot here. Now at number 8, we're getting into less flavored and more just like whiskeys, which is surprising, right? You'd think the flavor would be at the top of the list, but we've got Woodford Reserve, which actually has a lot less labels than Wild Turkey, and they're at the 8th spot with all their labels. So that it says here, they're including the rye, they're including the wheat. I think Woodford Reserve is fantastic. I think it's, well, I'm gonna hold what I'm about to say about number 7, but I'll say it when we get to number 7. But it is impressive that without having the different flavorings and things, this still takes the 8th spot. I think probably that partnership with the Kentucky Derby really sells a lot of them, if I had to guess. Now we're getting into the more interesting stuff. So at number 7, we've got Bulleit. First of all, well, actually, I think they're including Bulleit Bourbon and Bulleit Rye in this. Yeah. But first of all, okay, I do not think Bulleit is better than Woodford Reserve. And when you include Woodford Reserve Double Oaked and the other Woodford offerings, it blows my mind that Bulleit is more popular, quote unquote, so like more sales. Here's the thing though, that I've always said about Bulleit. Their marketing team deserves a slew of awards. Their Bulleit marketing is phenomenal. So the next time that you watch any show where they're like, let's break out the good bourbon, let's break out bourbon. Here, I'd like a glass of bourbon. Anytime. I mean, okay, obviously not every single time, but so often it's Bulleit. The one that sticks out in my head, I was watching Ozark one time, if you never watched that show, stellar show. And they like made this political deal. It was the wife and this politician guy, and they make this deal and he's like, this calls for celebration. Let's break out the good bourbon. And sure enough, it was Bulleit. And once you see it, you can't not see it. You're gonna watch a bunch of shows and you're gonna see it. So I say all that to say, Bulleit's marketing is phenomenal, and I think this is a sentiment to that because I think Woodford Reserve is better than Bulleit. Once again, not a lot of flavored stuff, not a ton of different labels really. It's not like it's one brand with all these different labels making all these different releases all the time. They have a few different ones, but impressive that they made it to the 7th spot. Number 6, I just didn't even see coming at all. So Seagram 7 is number 6 on this list, which is selling better than all these other ones, apparently. I don't know who's drinking that. I think it's good. I love a 7-7. That's like my go-to wedding drink. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's weddings, because they're like Seagram 7 is at so many different weddings as like their base whiskey offering. Maybe that's what it is. I didn't even know people were still drinking it other than at weddings. Blows my mind. Now this one, this is crazy. What are we on? 5 is just Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. And so the thing they clarify in the article is they don't know if they're including the Apple, Fire, and Winter Jack in this category or in just the Jack Daniel's category. But you heard me correct that this is separate from Jack Daniel's. So this isn't like all of Jack Daniel's. This is just the Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, and maybe it includes their other flavored labels. That to me is mind-blowing, that you've got like Wild Turkey with American Honey and with all their other labels, and then you've got just Jack Daniel's Honey beating that. That's pretty insane. Jack Daniel's though, I mean, they've still just got such a foothold in the United States. If people think, like when whiskey comes to mind, they think Jack Daniel's, especially in the US. Then at number 4, we've got Maker's Mark. That one, that's not a surprise to me, especially it seems like they're including all their different labels in here because they're mentioning the cellar aged, kind of bumping up the sales and everything. That doesn't surprise me at all. It surprises me that Jack Daniel's Honey is contending with Maker's Mark, like just Maker's Mark. That to me is absolutely mind-blowing, but hey, it is what it is, I guess. Number 3 surprises me that it's this high on the list, but I think it deserves to be because I feel like, so number 3 is Evan Williams. I should probably start there. But it feels to me like Evan Williams is underappreciated. I talk about Evan Williams Bottled in Bond a lot. Evan Williams 1783, phenomenal. I don't like just plain Evan Williams. I don't recommend just buying Evan Williams. I'd go with either the Bottled in Bond or the 1783. But the fact that it's actually getting this amount of recognition to make it to the 3rd most popular American whiskey in the world for 2025 is actually very impressive. So they also mentioned they've got a couple flavored bottlings, which makes sense. They got a spiked eggnog, so maybe that's bumping up the case sales a little bit. They also got a single barrel, but I think that's Kentucky only right now. But Evan Williams is fantastic. I think this one actually deserves the spot that it's at. Number 2 is probably gonna surprise you because I think we all would have assumed this would be number 1. But number 2 is actually Jack Daniel's. I feel like this comes down to how they're counting everything. So if you took Jack Daniel's and Jack Honey and put it together, I feel like that would be number 1 because number 1 doesn't make sense, but you might have guessed it by now. Maybe throw a guess in the comments if you haven't already. But number 1 doesn't make sense compared to Jack Daniel's in my opinion. But Jack Daniel's being very, very high up on the list, that absolutely makes sense. We all know it. I don't need to keep beating that dead horse. I do think Evan Williams Bottled in Bond is better than Jack Daniel's, but Jack Daniel's Bonded is pretty good. Jack Daniel's Gold Number 27 is probably overpriced, but it's really tasty. I have a sentimental feeling towards it because it was my wedding whiskey. But yeah, Jack Daniel's, we get it. You're good. Number 1. You might have guessed this already. Jim Beam beat Jack Daniel's for the number 1 selling American whiskey in the world. This actually blew my mind a little bit, but like I said, I think maybe it depends on how you're counting it, because Jim Beam, they might even say how many expressions they have here. It doesn't say, but Jim Beam has a ton of different expressions, and so I can understand if you're grouping all those expressions together, sure, it probably beats Jack Daniel's, but if you take Jack Daniel's and Jack Honey and you put those together, I feel like that's probably our actual winner. But Jim Beam is solid. I don't like the plain normal Jim Beam. I like some of the other stuff they do. I love Knob Creek, which also comes from the Beam Distillery. But I'm actually surprised. I don't think I have any bottles of just Jim Beam on my shelf at all. Maybe I have a Jim Beam Cinnamon that I haven't drank in legitimate years. But blows my mind that Jim Beam's at the top here. Honestly, if you drink Jim Beam more often than you drink anything else on this list, throw me some comments down below, and which label do you drink? Because I feel like maybe I haven't tried enough Jim Beam products. That's it. That's the whole list, and I'm not going to take any more of your time than I need to, but I do want to just say, if you enjoyed this video, please consider going and checking out the Whiskey Noobs Patreon page. There's more content on there, and you can also get in on some barrel picks. You get first dibs on them when they come out. By the time this video comes out, I will be undergoing the first barrel pick that we're doing for the Whiskey Noobs crew on Patreon. So go check it out. Monthly meetups, all kinds of very cool perks, and you even get some free gifts after certain anniversaries. And I've tried to make it an all-encompassing fun experience for everybody. So please go check that out, and I would really greatly appreciate it. Please also don't forget to subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I think that's everything. Thanks for watching Whiskey Noobs.